The unknown signal in the endless black of space. Silence ruled every corner. Stars burned quietly far from each other, and deep within the outer rim of the galaxy, the Valoran Empire kept its watch. They ruled hundreds of worlds. Their fleets patrolled every sector, and no signal ever escaped their scanners. Until one day something strange appeared. At first, it looked like noise. A simple burst of static from the dark edge of the charted zone. The officers in the observation deck ignored it, thinking it was just cosmic interference, but the signal came again, and this time, it carried structure, rhythm, purpose. It was not random, it was a message. Admiral Karthos, commander of the Valoran High Fleet, stood in front of the glowing map. His eyes narrowed as the unknown code flickered on the screen. He had seen every kind of signal, trade beacons, distress calls, pirate traps, but this was different. The language didn't match any known race. It looked ancient, primitive even, but wrapped in encryption far beyond valor and science. His communication officer Rin tried to decode it. Every time they got close, the data changed shape, as if the signal itself was watching them. Karthos felt a strange chill run down his spine. "Where is it coming from?" he asked. "Outer Zone, Sector 97 Delta," Rin replied. "No colonies there, no trade routes, nothing but dead stars." That made it worse. Signals don't just appear from nowhere. Something or someone was sending it. The Empire's scientists laughed when the first report reached them. They said it must be debris, maybe an old probe from the past. But when they tried to track its energy, their instruments failed. All readings went dark for 2 seconds, and then came back online. In those 2 seconds, every drone in the area was gone. No wreckage, no explosions, just empty space. The Empire called it impossible. Karthos called it dangerous. He ordered 3 scout ships to investigate. "Approach quietly," he said. "No lights, no transmissions. We don't know what we're facing." The scouts jumped into hyperspace. For hours, Karthos waited in silence, watching the timer tick down. When the ships finally reached the coordinates, the channel filled with static. Then a voice broke through, a human-sounding voice, faint but clear. "Identify yourselves," it said. The officers stared at each other. No translation needed. The voice spoke perfect galactic standard. Before they could respond, the signal cut off. Seconds later, the 3 scout ships vanished from the radar. No explosion detected, no debris field found. It was as if the void had swallowed them whole. Panic spread through the command deck. Rin shouted, "We lost them, Admiral, all 3 ships." Karthos clenched his fists. He had fought many battles. But this was something new. He ordered the remaining sensors to scan the region again. A faint echo appeared, a single ship. Hidden in the dark, its hull reflected no light. Its energy signature was almost 0, but it was massive, larger than any Valoran dreadnought, and yet silent, motionless, watching. Karthos zoomed in on the image. At first, the computer refused to analyze it. Then for a second the scanner glitched, showing strange markings on the ship's surface. The letters were old, not Valoran, not from any known world. When Rin enhanced the image, the word became clear. 5 symbols, written in an alphabet long forgotten. The officers leaned closer. "What does it say?" Karthos asked. Rin swallowed hard. "I think it says, Earth." Silence filled the room. The word meant nothing to most of them. But Karthos remembered a whisper from ancient records. Stories of a lost race, long gone before the Valoran Empire rose. A race that built machines that could think, fight and destroy humans. He laughed softly. But it was not a happy laugh. "Humans are myths," he said. "Ghost stories for young recruits." But deep down, something in his instincts told him otherwise. If the signal was from humans, it meant they were not gone. It meant they had survived somewhere in the dark. And if they were sending signals now, it meant they had returned. That night, the Empire's council gathered in secret. They argued for hours. Some said it was a trick, maybe pirates using ancient stories to spread fear. Others whispered that it was real, that humanity had come back for revenge. The Emperor finally spoke. "Find the ship," he ordered, "and bring it to me." No one dared to argue. Orders went out across the Empire. Fleets were prepared. The hunt for the unknown ship had begun, but in the cold space beyond their reach. The ship from Earth was already moving. Its engines lit up for the first time in centuries. and as it drifted toward the Velaran borders, a quiet message pulsed again through the void. Not in any alien tongue, but in old human words. "We see you." Karthos didn't know it yet. But the Empire had just awakened something it could never control. Something older, stronger, and far more human than they could ever imagine. The ghost in the dark, the Velaran Empire's pride, was shaken. The 3 scout ships vanished without any sign of battle. Admiral Karthos knew this was no ordinary enemy. He ordered a full reconnaissance fleet to find the unknown ship. Hundreds of ships jumped into hyperspace. They moved carefully, spreading out like a net. Their scanners searched every shadow and corner of the sector. Days passed, but the strange ship was nowhere to be found. Then, one by one, ships started disappearing. First, a small patrol cruiser, then a destroyer. No warning. No distress signals, no explosions. Only silence where once a ship had been. Fear grew among the fleet. The sailors whispered of ghosts in space, but Admiral Karthos refused to believe in myths. He pushed his fleet harder. "Find the ship or die trying," he said. During the search, a single survivor was found. A young pilot drifting in a damaged escape pod. He was barely conscious when they pulled him aboard. His eyes were wide with terror. He whispered words that chilled the room. "It looked human," he said, "but not like anything we know." The crew was stunned. Humans were thought to be extinct, wiped out before the rise of the Velaran Empire. How could a human ship be here hunting their fleet? Karthos ordered the pilot to be cared for. They questioned him carefully, but his memories were broken and weak. He spoke of a huge ship that moved like a shadow, silent, fast, and deadly. He said the ship's weapons never fired. They destroyed without noise. Like a ghost, the fleet's morale sank. Scientists studied the pilot's escape pod and found strange technology inside. Materials that were unknown to the Empire, stronger, lighter, and with power sources they could not understand. Karthos grew worried. He gathered his officers and spoke quietly. "This ship is not just a threat. It is a warning. We do not know who built it or why it hunts us. But if we don't act fast, it will destroy everything we have." Back in the Empire's capital, the Emperor watched the reports. He felt the weight of fear in his heart. For centuries, no enemy had dared challenge the Valoran Empire openly. Now, a forgotten race seemed to return from the dead. And the Empire was unprepared. Meanwhile, far from the fleets and battles, the human ship drifted silently. Its captain watched the stars with calm eyes. They had waited a long time for this moment, to remind the galaxy that humans still lived, and they had grown stronger than ever. The human captain sent out signals, not to attack but to watch. They studied the Valoran Empire carefully, learning their weaknesses and fears. This was not a war yet. It was a test. Back with Admiral Karthos, panic spread as more ships disappeared. His fleet was shrinking, and no one knew how the human ship could strike so silently. His officers begged him to retreat, but Karthos would not back down. "If we run now, the Empire will fall without a fight," he said suddenly. A new message came through the Empire's communication network. It was from the lost pilot's pod, sent automatically before it died. The message showed an image, a huge ship, black as night, with an emblem that no Valoran had ever seen. A blue planet with white clouds. A small shining world, the symbol of Earth. The Empire was shocked. The myth of humans was real, and they were no longer weak, forgotten creatures. They had returned. Karthos knew this was only the beginning. The ghost in the dark was waking, and the Valoran Empire was running out of time. The fall of the First Fleet, the Valoran Empire was ready to fight. Admiral Karthos ordered the strongest fleet ever gathered. 10,000 ships prepared to attack the human vessel. They called it the final battle. Their goal was clear: destroy the ghost ship before it destroyed them. The fleet moved slowly into position. The ships formed tight lines around the empty space where the human ship had been seen last. Energy weapons charged, missiles locked. Every captain was ready to fire on Karthos's command. But then something strange happened. Before a single shot was fired, the targeting systems went dead. Every ship's weapons turned off at the same time. Confused commanders shouted for explanations. No one could understand what was happening. Then the reactors began to fail, one by one. The ships started to lose power. Their energy cores overloaded and exploded without warning. Thousands of ships vanished in silent blasts. The fleet was destroyed before the battle even began. Admiral Karthos watched helplessly as his fleet burned. No enemy fire, no signs of attack. Just a strange power that broke their weapons and engines. His best pilots tried to escape, but their ships died in the same way. The Empire's might was crumbling before its eyes. From the wreckage, one message was sent back. A small data packet containing a single image. It showed a massive black ship. Larger than any in the Valoran fleet, its surface was smooth, with strange patterns glowing faintly. In the center was a symbol of a blue planet with white clouds, Earth. The message was clear. Humans had returned with power no one expected. They were not here to conquer, but to warn, to protect something only they knew. Back on the Valoran command center, panic spread quickly. Scientists scrambled to understand the strange technology. Generals debated how to fight a force that destroyed their ships without firing a shot. Karthos called for calm, but even he felt fear. The Empire was not used to losing, and now, for the first time, they faced an enemy they could not see. The ghost in the dark was stronger than anything they had faced before. Karthos prepared new orders. He commanded every ship to upgrade their shields and weapons. He demanded more scouts, more information, but deep inside, he knew the Empire was running out of time. Meanwhile, the human ship moved silently through the void. Its captain watched the destruction with quiet satisfaction. They had no interest in war, only in sending a message. The galaxy had forgotten humans, but humans would never forget. The captain's voice spoke calmly over the galactic channels, a voice without anger but full of power. You entered human space. You ignored our warnings. Now you have seen the cost. The Empire's leaders trembled as the message echoed. They realized the humans were not only alive, but they had evolved far beyond anything the galaxy had known. Karthos stared at the stars and whispered, "We were not prepared for this, and now it may be too late." The Empire trembles. News of the destroyed fleet spread fast across the Valoran Empire. Fear gripped every city and planet. The once proud people whispered about the ghost ship from the edge of space. Many did not believe the stories at first, but the evidence was too strong to ignore. The Emperor called his council to meet in secret. Admiral Karthos stood before the council. He told them everything: the lost ships, the strange technology, the message from the humans. Some council members refused to accept the truth. They said humans were myths, long dead, and that the Empire would recover, but others were terrified. They remembered old records from forbidden archives, records about a war long ago, when the Valorans fought a powerful race called humans, a war that ended with the destruction of Earth, or so they believed. Karthos showed the council images from the destroyed fleet. He said, "The humans survived. They hid in the shadows. Now they return stronger than before. We must prepare for a fight unlike any other." The council was divided. Some wanted to build more weapons, others urged for peace and talks. But the Emperor decided on action. All fleets must be ready to defend every world. No one will surrender. The Empire will stand. In the cities, people grew afraid. Families packed their belongings. Soldiers trained harder, but many doubted victory. The fear of the unknown haunted them. The ghost ship was not just a ship. It was a symbol of power they could not fight. Meanwhile, Admiral Karthos dug deeper into the Empire's secret files. He found old maps, old ships, and messages from the past. The humans had not only survived, they had changed. They learned to use technology that could control machines. They could hide from sensors. They had weapons that destroyed without noise. Karthos knew the Empire's old ways were not enough. They needed new ideas, new strategies. He began to train special teams to fight this new enemy. Teams that could think like humans, act fast, and fight smart far away. The human ship moved closer to Valoran space. Its captain watched the Empire's panic. They did not want to destroy the Valorans, but they would not be ignored or forgotten. The humans sent a final message, calm but clear. Remember this: the galaxy belongs to those who survive, those who adapt, those who fight for their future. The Empire trembled under the weight of this warning, and for the first time in centuries, the Valoran Empire felt small and weak. Admiral Karthos looked to the stars. He knew the real war was just beginning, humanity's return. The Valoran Empire gathered its last forces. Millions of ships stood ready on the borders of their space. The people waited in fear and hope. They wanted to defend their empire, but they did not know what to expect. Admiral Karthos watched from the command center. His eyes were tired but full of determination. He knew the time had come. The human ship would soon appear again. Suddenly, a message appeared on every screen across the empire. A human captain's face showed clearly. Calm and strong, he spoke in perfect galactic standard. "We do not come as enemies, but we will not be forgotten again. We come to remind the galaxy of humanity's strength." The Valoran ships prepared for battle. But before the first shot could be fired, a strange pulse swept across space. Every Valoran weapon shut down at once. The ships were powerless, frozen like statues. The human fleet appeared from the darkness. Hundreds of ships, silent and fast. Their designs were strange but strong. No Valoran ship could match their power. The Empire's leaders fell silent. They understood that this was not a fight they could win. The humans did not attack. They controlled. With one command, they stopped the Empire's weapons. Admiral Karthos looked at the human captain. He felt respect and fear for the first time. He saw what humanity had become. They were not the weak race of old stories. They were survivors, fighters, and leaders. The human captain spoke again. "Remember this day. The galaxy belongs to those who endure, those who fight for their future, those who will never give up." The Valoran Empire bowed not by force but by truth. They understood that humanity had returned to claim their place among the stars. Karthos thought about the past, about the myths and legends of humans. Now he knew they were real, stronger than any empire. The Empire had learned a hard lesson. Never underestimate those who survive, for they carry the power to change the galaxy forever.